gonna make croque monsieur. Yeah, they overdid the sanitizing. So if you over sanitize your counters, it will become sticky. Just letting you know. Or you mix it with food. So if you didn't wipe down your area first and then spray, you just sprayed. That's my great knives. Okay. We're gonna start. So first thing you're gonna do, really easy, is that we're gonna make our bechamel sauce. Okay. And we're gonna start with flour and stuff that I have ready to go. Should be. Megan, can you pass me a towel? That's the thing you need. I have 4 things that you see. I have a large pot, small pot, and then upstairs I have this frying pan that's only allowed to use eggs. You're going to learn how to season your pan. Please do not use anything other than rubber on here. These are new, and I have not had a scratch on them. Please do not make sure you're the one who first scratches it. It's kind of like a new car and you scratch it. Okay, so I'm going to get started with 2 things. I'm going to make mine with a spiced tomato sauce, and because it's spiced, I'm going to get it going. I'm going to also get my 2 sauces going, so figure out you and your partner what you're going to do. I'm going to start by making my first one with we can talk about that later. Okay. So I'm going to use a waste bowl. That's one thing that I'm expecting you to do. Just keep things nice and neat. Okay. I'm using shallots. You don't have to. It's just because I had shallots. Actually, I prefer you not to because it's expensive. But I do. I just had a whole bunch, and I just want to use it half open. So I want to use it before in the weekend. Yeah, you can use onions instead. And I usually cook this and then I blend it. So that's why I'm doing a rough chop. Okay. While this happens, I'm going to do a lot of multitasking today. So please just keep in mind as you go on. You're going to make this and notice that there's a lot of things that are optional. So keep that in mind. Okay. You'll need a lot less than what I'm going to be getting for you. Meaning the sauce. You won't need all the sauce. So you can always make your bechamel and turn it into a soup and add it to your soup if you want. So I'm adding this in. I'm adding it low heat because I don't want my butter to burn. Okay? So I can even add it in a cold pan if I want. So I'm letting it kind of melt at a very low heat. If you see it, it's super low. Okay? While that happens, I'm just going to keep going. And also, depending on what I'm doing, I've noticed that I'm thinking before I cut, what is my end result? If it is something that's really rough and I'm going to puree or blend it instead, I don't need to make it so that it's really pretty, right? But it should be consistent. That's one thing that you need to go and determine for yourself. So I'm going to have my spoon and everything else. Okay. So this one, butter is melted now. I'm going to add a little bit of, too hot. Notice that I took it off the heat and it's still going. Okay, huh? Yeah, you don't have to follow me. I'm just randomly making things up on the spot right now, by the way. So I am just going based on what I think I know, which I know how to make a soup. And I know what goes well in the soup. So I'm going to add that, add a little bit of water. So it doesn't burn. Let it cook down a little bit. That's what I meant, but you can cook with a recipe when you know things. So I usually add garlic, but today I'm just going to let it kind of simmer down. I'm making a quick version. You're going to make your own with your partner, so you figure out a good one. Okay? You can look online, figure it out. I'm going to do spice, so I'm going to take a little bit of tomatoes, and I'm going to cook it in my tomatoes with my water. Okay, a little bit more tomato. So, and you're going to make up to 2 cups. Okay, so squish the tomatoes, Okay. Reason why you should use these tomatoes is that these are in tomatoes are not in season. So the canned tomatoes, especially if it just says just plain tomatoes as your ingredients, is the best batch. Okay. So I'm gonna add it in. I feel like adding a little balsamic in here. Ooh. A little bit of sherry. No, don't follow me. Like, figure out your own. I don't want you to make what I'm making. I want you to make what you think will be a good tomato soup. That's why I'm winging it.
In order to get good ones, we have to.
Oh, you are correct. Except that's true, but this one, not this one. Because whatever I say is your own view. Whatever works best. So I got this part you do. You're gonna add that was a good one, Hassan. So you're gonna go and take your flour, because I'm gonna now start to make a roux. I'm gonna take my whisk and I'm gonna whisk it until it comes together. Okay. And due to the fact that this is a little bit more loose, remember it's by weight, not by volume. So 1.5 tablespoons by weight. Add it in. Whisk it up. A bechamel is white. Do not let it turn brown. Okay? Then afterwards, I'm going to start to add my milk, a little bit at a time. It is exactly what it says. It says a cup of milk. You're going to be adding that. You can have this recipe. So I'm adding cold milk a little bit at a time, and I'm trying to work out the lumps. Okay. And that's important because what I'm looking for is a very smooth sauce. Okay. Adding a little bit of milk a little bit at a time. Okay. I have my soup on low, and I'm just going to let it simmer away. It doesn't take too long. Okay. Now with the roux, it only thickens if you bring it to a boil. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to add my cream at this point in time too. Okay. There's a couple things that are optional that literally is optional if you want to put it in. Cloves, peppercorn, bay leaf, and that is a classic thing that you're going to add into your bechamel usually, and onions, but I usually do this as a quick version. Okay. That's due to time's sake, you won't have enough time to go in. This might be. No. Oh. I student did the wrong cream. Okay, so what happened is now I'm going to add my nutmeg because we're flavoring. So what I'm going to do is you can bring your nutmeg up here. Okay, you don't need too much. Too much nutmeg causes you to get high. Yeah, she does.
Oh, yes.
Happens all happened already. Did you put the nutmeg in the vegetable? You added the nutmeg with the... Yep, and then I bring it up to a simmer. While that happens, you're going to do the most difficult job, which is to build a sandwich. I know, it's going to be difficult, just saying. Okay, I don't know about you, but I hate it when I eat the stuff in the middle and it's like, oh, fantastic, and then the edges taste really gross because it has nothing on the side, right? There's a reason why you guys are standing up for us. Yeah, you're going to take Gruyere cheese. That's very tasty cheese. You're going to spread it to all the edges because that's what makes it taste good. Okay, most likely you'll get slices, so it'll be easier for you. Okay. That's the cheese. That's why I told you that you need to go and stand up here so you can actually see properly instead of. Yeah. I'm multitasking. I'm doing three things. I got my sauce, I got my soup going, right? And I'm watching it as I go. I'm not like leaving it alone. Okay. Check up the heat. And then I'm gonna go and put my ham in there. So it is a ham and Gruyere cheese sandwich, but don't worry, it's not done yet. You still have more to do after this. So I'm gonna put my ham right on. And I don't know about you, but I hate it when like someone actually like puts in the sandwich and it doesn't have like meat and everything going on the edge. Drives me nuts. Put the cheese right on top. Hold it. There you go. Okay. I have my cheese extra left, and that was going to be left over for my next dish, which will be to put into my Croque sauce. So I'm waiting for this to boil and get it to go. While that happens, I will have a wash station up in the front. Okay, this looks like this is ready. Okay, my bechamel, I'm just waiting for it to boil. If you want to make things look neater, way of doing it is either put this onto a tray instead of on the counter, or else you're going to be putting it into a pitcher with water. This way. I'm going to add my egg, and I'm going to add some parsley to this. It's getting thick, which is good. Let it bubble, thicken. Okay. Make sure that you add some salt to this so that it actually has some flavor as you go along. Always taste every part of your food, because I sometimes give my food to some people randomly and see and ask them like what they think. And sometimes they went back to me and said, it was actually pretty gross. And I was thinking, really? I ate it. And they said, because I eat everything in one bite. But my friends don't do that. And then what happened was they tasted it and they said, yeah, like the quinoa really was bad. And I was thinking, oh, why? And they said, yeah, it had no flavor. But if I put everything together, it had flavor. So know that not everyone eats everything all at once. So you need to make sure everything tastes good. Okay. Once it bubbles and it's thickened, I'm gonna, and it looks like it's a sauce. Okay, so it's still a little bit runny, but it's thick enough. So if you look at it, it's a little thicker. It's a little bit runny, but it's not like water or milk like before, okay? Alright, so if you guys can see, it's a little thicker. I can smell the nutmeg, which is what you want, classical bechamel. Alright, okay? Then you're going to go and leave it off the heat. And you're going to let it cool down. If I add my cheese now, what will happen to, and you can add your egg yolk, but I found that people don't like raw egg yolks, just put it in, so I don't anymore, but usually I do. Okay. My tomato sauce or soup is done. I'm going to put in my cream. I infused this with some spices, actually, and some herbs, like thyme. So that's mine, but you don't have to do that. Like I said, I actually prefer you not to. Okay. Then you're just going to go and let it sit there, and then afterwards you can blend it in a food processor or a blender. Alright, so this is ready to go. After I taste it, obviously. If I add the cheese now, it's going to be too hot, so I have to let it sit there. And just as a reminder, I put my cheese right next to it. I'm going to go now, put my parsley in, and you will have a station up here. So this part you don't have to do. I repeat, this part you don't have to do. So please don't ask me an invalid question, which is, where's the herbs and the egg, so I can dip my sandwich in. And some of you guys are like, oh, this is super easy. I don't have to make details and copy all this down. Those who remember me doing this during, if you are in a linear class, you're not used to this. My semester class are used to this. You will forget everything by the time you come in here after your weekend. Trust me. many times. Okay, so I have this ready to go, and I'm going to turn this on low. In order to season my pan properly, I need to go and fry it. I'm going to do it nice and low. Okay, and I'm just going to go and take some butter, and I'm going to melt it in here. I don't need a lot. But now, I'm going to go and dip my bread. Okay, into my egg mixture, and it's going to soak up. Make sure I try not to get all the cheese out, so tuck the cheese in because you want the cheese in there. All right. At this point in time, you want it to, once you put it in, you want it to sizzle. Okay. So, all right, I have a little bit more stuff here still. I have a little bit more butter here, and you'll see why. Okay, you don't want to make it soggy, so it's kind of like making a French toast at this point in time. All this is a croque monsieur, okay? Up until I do the egg. I'm going to put this in, turn it up a little bit more, make it so that it sizzles. I hear it. Good. So, but that is done. We're not done yet. Because it's still doing the sandwich. I'm going to now add the cheese into my sauce. It's going to be a little thicker, and it's going to be tasty. Okay. Make sure that it's not lumpy or splitting. Okay. Yep, that's it. Add cheese. I'm going to take an offset spatula. You can find this over there. Do not use these guys. These guys don't lift as well. So use these offset spatulas. You can get under a little easier. And these ones are found where the saran wrap is. Coffee?
I'm copying.
Okay, soaking it up. This is a heavy one.
Oh, it's a big one.
It's a big one. Did you say it's a big one? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to fry this up, making sure that it's able to lift off. Once it's golden brown, I flip it over. Okay. While this happens, your partner can blend your soup. Okay. Obviously, at this point in time, I'm not blending my soup. And then, when you're almost ready, I have this on broil, by the way. Okay, so it's this BRL, broil. Flip. You want it to be golden brown on the other side. Everyone's like, at first, everyone said, oh, this is just a ham and cheese sandwich until they ate it. They're like, oh, wow, I'm eating this. Okay, because I ran out of butter, that's why I saved some. I'm going to put some in right now. Kind of lift off the edge a little bit so it just gets underneath. Turn it down a little so that it doesn't burn. Okay, so you're controlling your... You do not.
What?
Okay, I'm going to take this off, put it here. Sorry? No. Then once you're done, you're going to go and put it on here. You can put it on a cooling rack if you want. It's nice thick sauce. Make sure you taste your food. So you can adjust the seasoning before you put things on. Never do it after. Use a little bit more. And then afterwards, you're going to go and put the sauce on. Notice that I have extra sauce. So if you don't have to make a tomato soup, but classically cheese and tomato goes really well. You can always make it something with a bechamel, make another sauce with it. Okay. You can do cornstarch instead of doing flour, so that's another way of making it. I'm going to put this right on. Oh yes. Once you have that going, my egg is going to be ready to fry. So, just before I put it in, I'm going to go and take this non-stick. The only time I will use non-stick is only for eggs. Okay? I never use it other than that. Everything else I use aluminum. Okay. You're going to go and So this is all ready to go. Break your egg. The key is that, and what I'm looking for is that there's no brown on the bottom. So watch how I'm doing it. I have it on low heat. I'm gonna put it right on. Okay? Give it a nice seasoning. Some of you guys came up and the first thing I asked was, did you season your egg? And a lot of you guys went back without even talking to me. So I understand what happened. Okay, so I've added a little bit of pepper. And that's the difference. This is, once I boil this, this is a croque monsieur. Okay? And you see this. And you'll see this really bright light up here. I'm going to keep this ajar, and I'm going to want to toast it until it's brown. Okay, the top. So it's kind of toasted the bechamel sauce. Okay? Yeah. Blend this for me. Yeah, so that I can. So this is turned down to low. And how to make sure that this is actually done properly, I put the lid on here. And I'm kind of steaming it as it goes. You can put it underneath the broiler too. That's another way. Since you have the broiler on. Can you guys? Okay. So I'm going to do that right now. My rack is a little bit too high for this. This should be cooking pretty well today. No, because the heat comes to the top, I want to get all the white parts cooked. Thank you. Perfect. Almost done. It's a sunny side up egg, so I should see minimal brown on the bottom. Okay, and I'm seeing that this part is brulee nicely on the top. Done. If you look at the bottom, which I'm not going to take, make sure no metal, right? I'm going to take this and I'm going to lift it on the bottom. No more brown. No brown. Okay, I got this all ready. It could go a little bit more, but you see that it's a little bit brown right here. It's starting to burn, so. Okay, watch out, this is hot. You're going to put this right on, and you can cut this in half if you want. So I'm going to do that. You ever seen a glorious...
You cut it into like 30.
Yeah, but the only thing is when you cut into it, you got to be careful that you don't let it overflow. Get it so it doesn't look very pretty. Okay, so then once you got that, you're going to go and put this right on. Okay. I told you it's a glorified one. And if you look at my egg, it's fully cooked, but the bottom is actually, you can take a look at it, it's like there's no brown on there at all. Very, very little, okay? And that's a proper egg. If there's any brown on there, that's not a proper sunny side up egg. Put it right on. This is now a croque madame. At that point, you're going to have your soup right here, and then you can dip your soup with this. That's basically it. I've done this in, I mean, given that my mise en place is done, 20 minutes. Okay? When you're organized, you can do this. I cook 3-course meals in an hour. You can do... Emily's just blending it right now because I can't get to the thing properly and you guys are here, so I usually have stuff like that. Does anyone have any questions? I do. Yes, what's your question?
Put the egg in the oven. I didn't see.
I put the egg and held it there.